All right, good day, my friends. My name is Tracy Repchuk, and I'm the host of Reach Millions TV, an entrepreneurial lifestyle and learning channel where I will educate and introduce you to some of the greatest powerhouses in their fields. As an entrepreneur for over 37 years, I've had the good fortune to appear in Forbes over 27 times, speak in 39 countries, appeared on NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, won awards from the Senate, the Assembly, the White House, and President Obama, written 9 #1 international bestsellers. And throughout that journey, I have been able to reach millions with my message. And I wanted to show you how you can do it too through specific trainings and by introducing you to the people that can help you to find more leads and make more sales and reach millions with your message. You can find out more about me at tracyrepchuk.com or reachmillionsacademy.com. Now, today I am joined by a dear friend, the amazing powerhouse, Baeth Davis, who is also known as Dr. Purpose to global leaders, especially the healing artist entrepreneurs. Using her intuition, extensive content creation experience, 23 years in business, and expertise in scientific hand analysis, you're going to love this, and human design, she helps you to discover and unleash your life purpose, and then design a business around your core purpose so you can profit and serve. Beth, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here.
Oh, I'm super excited.
It's a pleasure.
It's been so long since we've had a chance to chat and connect.
I know.
And we're probably in all the same groups. And of course, me moving out here now to Nova Scotia has removed me from my normal Malibu Canyon environment. And so I'm so grateful for moments like this, where not only do I get to interview you, but of course I get to help show others your amazing talents. Okay, so we have to start with the grand kahuna. And this is, of course, how I met you, learning of this unbelievable craft that you have known as hand analysis. I want you to explain the process and philosophy to our listeners.
Sure. I think of hand analysis as a biometric tool. Your hands are essentially a map of the major activity of the brain or the major behavioral personality traits that you have. And from that data, it's very easy to determine someone's life purpose, which is a good thing to know, your challenges, your gifts, hidden liabilities, secret wishes. It's all in there. It's all in the hands. I also use another tool called human design, and I use both of these tools because they're both biometric. So hand analysis is that map of the brain, and we take ink prints. To your question, we take ink prints typically. We send out a little kit, and people make ink prints, and then we send them in and we scan them into the cloud, and then have a Zoom conversation or online webinar conversation about what's in the hands. I've also been teaching people, since maybe 2001, this system of hand analysis that was first developed by a man named Richard Unger, and he's still my mentor. I still take classes with him actually all these many 23 plus years later. So I started out reading hands and doing one-off readings, and then I realized people needed more support, so I built out a coaching business. And then about 7 years ago, I came across human design and started using that with my clients in addition to the hand analysis, and I found it was a very good mixture of tools because the hands are so unique to you and show me how you behave. And then your human design gives me a map of your DNA, if you will, of how your strongest DNA influences and how you interact with your environment. And so that essentially has become my work. And I primarily focus on two things. I focus on training and education around the tools. And then I coach people from the standpoint of identifying the patterns that are in the way of you fulfilling your purpose. In other words, I'm here to help you recognize the patterns and eliminate them or shift them so that you can eliminate resistance. So I'm really here to help people diminish and relinquish resistance and their own mental oppression to be free and happy in their lives, because no one is meant to be sick or unhealthy or unhappy. And mostly people are because, well, one, they push too much, they work too hard, or they don't do enough. They're lazy for whatever reason, or in procrastination. And all of that is being incorrect. So helping people be correct in their own unique design, not to do it like I would or like you would, but the way they are designed to, is where that real liberation occurs.
Now, you mentioned kind of biometrics, and if we think of, let's just say, a palm reader, right? Somebody looks at your hands. Are they just looking at lines? And in your case, you've got, whether it be intuitive or another art skill on top of this?
Well, it's a system anyone can learn. A child can learn it. That's what makes it scientific. It's repeatable, it's demonstrable, it's proven. Hundreds of thousands of hands read. The markers mean the same thing, whether they're in your hand, my hand, or someone else's. There's over 300 key markings. It's quite timeless. Humans have been humans for quite a while, and the data is pretty consistent over time. So you don't have to have any special magical skills, other than it helps if you're articulate, and it helps if you're able to communicate. It's helpful if you can read other people and deliver the information to them based on the way they're best going to hear it. And the hands actually will dictate whether I talk fast or slow, how much information I give, what information I give. But all of this comes with practice. So mainly people need to practice. That's the, it's like anything in life. You get better at it as you do it. So there is an art to it in terms of being empathetic, attuned to others, able to articulate the data. But in terms of learning the data, just about anyone can learn the data. Now, whether or not they can translate it into language so someone can understand it, they may or may not be suited to that. So not everyone is suited to being in a service role. They're not.
And so you mentioned there's 300, right? Obviously, some of the main ones that you must work, I'm assuming you're working with, are like relationship, business, love. What are some others that are the major ones that you're examining?
Well, I don't get into health for legal reasons, but I certainly can see health things. And when I do see health things, I urge the person to get a physical, or they're already aware of the problem. They already know that there's an issue. What's interesting, Tracy, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I just had my mastermind group before this call, and it was the mindset call of the week. And I was talking with the group about what really gets in our way financially. Like, what really is it? And mostly it's bad habits. And people get caught in a pattern of the way they relate to money, but they treat money terribly. They don't have a good relationship with money. So I first talked with them about attachment styles, which we tend to relate to romantic relationships, but the way you attach is how you handle money as well. Any of those very, very intimate parts of your life, health, sexuality, money, business, friendship, anything really meaningful to you. If you're an anxious person in love, you're going to be an anxious person with money. It's, if you're secure in love, you'll be secure with money most often. All things being relatively equal. There's that attitude, easy come, easy go. I keep some for me. There's some for other people. There's always enough. There's mindsets where people are very supported, say financially. So what I see is, one, there's the bad habits and the conditioning of the environment, and just the sad conversations people continually have about money that I invite them to stop having. But beyond that, what I find, Tracy, is that people are very talented. Everyone is talented and unique and has special abilities and a special contribution to make. And there is a real reluctance to be visible. That's why I love the work that you're doing, because you really give people strategy. That's not my forte. I'm not a strategist, but you really provide people with the how. Here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You follow these steps, you're going to get the result if you apply yourself. And when people tell me, oh, I've worked with 6 coaches and none of it's worked, I'm like, well, that's your fault.
Mhm.
It's not your coach's fault. It's your problem. And what is it? Why are you so insistent on being in control and being right? Because that's really all it is. People want to be in control. And the only way to succeed is you have to let go of so much control while still knowing what to control. Are you with me? I know you understand this. So there's
I
certain things in
do.
your business you can control, like you can control balancing your checkbook. You may not always control what is a hit and what's a failure with the marketplace. We don't always know. I have things fail all the time and I just bury them quietly and move along. And people think, oh, you're so successful. I'm like, yeah, because I don't go on, carry on about every failure I've had. But I could tell you what I've learned from every single failure, but I just learn from them and I move along. And this is all things I've learned from my own hands. So primarily the issue is this. What people want to know about, to your first question, is what are my gifts? And there
Mm.
are 18 possible gift markings in the hand. Now, not everyone has gift markings. Some of the most gifted people on the planet don't even have gift markings. Gift markings aren't always so great. And here's why. A gift marking means you have an inherent gift, but you're not using it because there's a penalty associated with it. So when you see the marking, nine times out of 10, the person's in penalty. Now, if they understand the penalties to their gifts, what occurs when they don't use the gift, they
Mm.
can then move out of penalty. And the marking may or may not disappear. It depends on the person. Some people want to keep the markings. Like I have gift markings and I use them as reminders. Like the
Mm.
penalty keeps me in line. So it's almost like my brain knows, oh, she needs the feedback of the penalty to keep using the gift or she'll get complacent. And some people don't have that complacency tendency. You know, I'll tend to back off things. But people that don't have that, they don't need the penalty to keep them going. They will naturally keep going. So that's really the essence of all of it. I see again and again and again, primarily with women entrepreneurs. I can't speak so much to men, only in that I occasionally work with male clients, but most of my clients are women. 95% of my clients are women. And women's brains, we know, are genetically engineered differently than men, very differently. And men are single focused. So they actually often have an easier time making money because they're able to answer what's the one thing you do for your clients? What's the one problem you solve? What's your one point of entry? What's your one magnificent offer? You know, they can be very focused. And women, our brains are like, oh, I want to go shopping. I'm going to pick flowers. I'm going to feed the baby while I'm stirring the soup. You know, we can do that. However, in business, that approach doesn't work so well. And so we have to adapt more masculine thinking and bring that into the business. And in a way, for women, it's merging their feminine essence with the right amount of structure for their personality. So with women business owners, or wannabe business owners, the biggest issue I see is that shiny object. And women use it for a number of different reasons. They use it because they're afraid of being seen and being rejected, so they stay distracted. They use this shiny object to feed their insecurities. Well, if I just do one more course, if I just get one more degree, if I just hire one more coach, you know, oh, that's going to be the big hit, you know. And I turn clients away who come to me and say, oh, I've found it with you. I'm like, no, you haven't.
Mm.
No, you haven't found it with me or anyone. It's in you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. So if they're going to give me their power, nope, not working together. So the resistance, you know, first is I don't want to be rejected. Then it's I don't want to make other people uncomfortable, right? So I don't want to deal with people's jealousy and their snarky remarks and, you know, always hitting me up for money or whatever the thing is. Because with success comes other problems, and we're all aware of what those problems are. We don't have to have experienced the problems of success to know what they are. We can see it by reading any tabloid magazine. You have people taking pictures of your cellulite and, you know, telling everyone about your love life. I mean, it's a nightmare for those people. I really feel for them. I don't envy them at all. I wouldn't want to be famous like that. No, thank you. But whatever you decide to do in your life, it's going to require discomfort with others. And men, because of their brains and the way their eyes are structured and their hunter energy, have a much easier time with rejection, and they're used to ribbing each other as a group, right? The men get on each other, and it's how they one up each other, and it's like loving most of the time. You know, they'll have a fight and then they're buddies the next day. Women, they might have a fight and never speak again. I've had that happen in my life. I've had arguments with girlfriends and then they never speak to me again. And I'm like, oh, well, fine. We don't really need to be friends then, do we? If you can't work out a conflict, please. But a lot of my ability to say that and say it the way I say it is because I've learned about who I am. And I've learned that what you think of me, it's only relevant if I care about you. Strangers, what they think about me, like I can't control any of that. So that's the biggest issue, Tracy, is people know they have gifts. They see the rewards you and I are getting by stepping out, but they don't want to do it. So what do? They just stay distracted. They stay in money worry. They do the feast and famine baloney. On and I mean, I could go on. I could give you 1,000 things people do to shoot themselves in the foot. So my new message, and maybe it's because I'm going to be 53 in a couple days, but my new message as I move into this 5th decade of my life, and my tolerance for BS is now exactly less than 0. Right? I know you're there. Is I'm just telling all these women, I'm like, it's your fault. You did it to yourself. And the only way that you're going to get out of it is to do new behavior. So if you're thinking about money, like, how am I going to get some? And where's that? What if you thought about, how could I be of greater service today? What do I need to accomplish creatively today to move the bar forward? And so I'm encouraging all the people that listen to me, if they listen to me, take that 80% of energy you're using for negativity and distraction and worrying about what people think, and just put it into moving forward. So if you owe the IRS money, call them today. There's no debtor's prison. Call them today and say, hey, I know I owe you X number of dollars. Can we work out a payment plan? And you know what the IRS will say? Sure. How much can you pay? Well, I can do 50 a month or 5,000 a month, depending on your revenue and how much you owe the IRS. But it's really about dealing with it. And I don't know if you notice this, Tracy, and I'd love your hit on this. In our community, we have a lot of wonderful healers, right? And artists and spiritual people, meaning they're open to the mystery. You know, they're open to symbology, deep people, right? They understand archetypes. They're into nature. They want to help the environment. They want to help children. Good-hearted, giving, creative, amazing, loving people. And they have these ridiculous relationships with money, right? They have these absurd relationships in their life. And they're codependent with just about everything. And so I was thinking about, what is this? Because I used to be it. How do you think I know this, right? How do I know that? How do we know this stuff, right? Because we've been there, done that. And I was thinking how this drive in women to be liked and to be a part of is also what keeps us so well hidden. And so the key to changing this money, if we use money as an example of the problems people have, first of all, women need to make a decision that they're not going to do it anymore. It's sort of like giving up drinking. Like, I shouldn't drink. It affects me negatively. I'm going to stop. But I'm going to get some support to help me stay stopped. So when I see people in a lot of debt, I'm like, why don't you go to Debtors Anonymous? They can help you fix that. Oh, I don't have a problem. I'm like, okay, well, stay in debt then. It's not my problem. So that's really consistently what I'm seeing at this point. So as I'm in my 5th decade, I am just saying to all of my clients, you're doing it to yourself. Take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. Yes, your illness. Yes, your bad relationship, your money problems, your wayward child. It's all your problem. And then get support and learn how to receive, because that's the control piece that I see, Tracy, is even though the feast or famine sucks, pardon my French, people are more familiar with it and they feel in control and they feel like it's something they can overcome. Oh, here we go again, right? And they feel like they can control their world. Whereas to do what you've done, you're saying, I'm putting myself out there and I'm going to see what comes back to me and respond accordingly, right? And what comes back when you put yourself out there correctly, which you teach people how to do. So anyone watching this, if you need strategy on how to step out correctly, talk to Tracy, and you customize it just like I do. You customize the solution to the individual. If you're having trouble stepping out, get support to step out correctly, and then surrender to the magic, right? Because you didn't know you'd win those awards. You didn't necessarily know you'd speak in 39 countries or whatever, be an advisor to the UN. And if you haven't been, you will be. I'm just telling you, you'll probably be a president of a country sooner or later. But opportunities just keep being given to you because you keep creating the conditions to receive the opportunities. And I guess that's my message for today. You have to create the environment to receive, and you cannot receive anything when your mind is in a loop. So mostly what I see in people's hands, Tracy, are anxiety lines. So I can look at someone's hand and go, oh, you're not getting what you want in life. And they're like, how do you know? I said, your mind is a hot, oppressive mess. Your mind can't figure out your life. Your mind doesn't know jack. You can't use your mind to solve this. The only way to solve it is to give of your creativity, to be innovative, to put yourself out there. Everyone is designed to be visible. Every human being must be visible to succeed. It's not like it's just for you or me. It's for everyone. We all have a voice. We all have to use it. And you can only manifest when you use your voice. There's no other way to manifest. So you've got to do it through blogs, videos, audios, public speaking, running for office, heading a committee, places where you at least get your 15 minutes on a regular basis to say what you want to say. So those are my thoughts for the week. I know they're a little jumbled, but this is clearly up in the field, and it just needs to be addressed because women aren't victims. And I am just tired of male bashing. I'm tired of the whole thing. Take responsibility for your outcomes because they're all your fault. They're nobody else's fault. And I'm just baffled by it's just easier, I guess, to blame someone else or hope the government fixes it.
That's right.
Good luck with that, right?
Super simple. Yeah. To finger point for sure. And I 100% agree with you, as you would know. We're responsible. If someone's going wrong, just look in the mirror, figure it out, or as you say,
get help.
Stop thinking
Have
to have all the solutions of the planet just available at your fingertips, right? We've all had mentors. I wouldn't be where I was without mentors. I wouldn't be where I was without spiritual guidance. I wouldn't be where I was without seeking help of things that I am particularly weak in, as you have pointed out. And one of the things I want people to realize that you've been featured in Women's World, Cosmopolitan, the LA Times, you've been heard on NPR, Los Angeles Radio, Europe, BBC, and you are devoted to helping people kind of unleash their life purpose and uncover the number one thing that's been holding them back from achieving it. And I think it was interesting because I heard it so definitively, and yet I guarantee so many people on this call did not register it. It's take responsibility for your own actions, for where you are, for your predicament, as ugly or as great as that is, right? We're all good at like, oh, this is awesome. I got here because I worked hard, but we forget to look at the man. And then, like you, I could go through so many pitfalls along the way and absolutely identify one of the moments that caused me for that to occur, and it's interesting, and it goes back to taking the responsibility. So and I had this done with you, right? I've had the reading, and so what are kind of some of the process? I remembered coming on the call. I remember doing my handprint with you. We went over the elements. Describe that process to people so that they can. You touched on it. You do a Zoom call and everything, but it's quite a profound moment. And so discuss kind of how can they get this, right? How could they get this?
Right. Sure. Well, the thing is, I don't do many readings anymore. So you can get a reading with me, but I charge $1,500 for it. And people go, oh, how can you charge that? I'm like, oh, I should charge more for it. But anyway, you're welcome. There's a
Well,
couple reasons I
I
charge
remember
that,
Sylvia
right?
Brown was $5,000. Do
Yeah,
you remember back in
yeah,
the day when she was the big, I'll
right,
call her the psychic goddess.
right,
She was $5,000 to have a reading.
right,
Well, you know what? You
right.
want a good reading, you go to the right person.
You go to the right person.
Yeah,
My reading, I could easily charge $5,000 for it and I would get it. And the reason is because I know I'll get it, because I know I can deliver. So that's
right.
part of confidence around charging what you're worth. You know, like, oh, this whole thing about high ticket. And I just want to go like,
Mhm.
everyone's selling high ticket. There's all these people like, oh, I'm going to sell how to do high ticket by doing high ticket. You know, it's like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
And my whole thing about it is it's fine to charge high ticket when you're a master,
Mhm.
but you need to be an expert at the thing you're selling. And if you're not, you need to figure out what you're an expert at, right? So, I guess I have kind of a hard line about it, but I charge that because one, I know I can help the person if they're open and willing with the data. And I also know how to fix things. I really do have a very good ability of seeing the problem and knowing what solution is needed. And it's all instinct. That's real instinct to me. And that's part of my design. So I trust in that. And people know that about me. And so my reputation precedes me. I've also been at this 23 years. You've been at it as long as I have. And so, you get known and you get more known. The more you stay with it, the more consistent you are, and then it starts to build a momentum. I found the momentum, it took me, I'm a slow learner. So the momentum took me about 10 years to really get going. It took me 10 years. And people say, oh, that's too long. I'm like, well, in 10 years, you'll be nowhere if you don't start now. So
Mhm.
start today. But if you work with me, we send a printing kit. You make your handprints, you follow the instructions. We also have an instructional video you can watch on how to do it, and they get mailed back. My assistant scans them into the cloud. We meet on Zoom. I pull it up on the screen. I can annotate the hand, show you what's in the hand and how to use it. And then from there, you can decide whether or not you want more support.
Mhm.
One of the things we are going to do is we're going to start rolling out our hand analysis training again, hopefully before the end of the year, but don't quote me on that. Hopefully by the end of the year, all things being equal, if not that, the beginning of the new year. We've rolled out our human design training, and really I don't think of myself as a coach. It's sort of a consultant. I'm really a teacher and a facilitator of people's truth and what makes them happy. And so my hope is to train a lot of people and train my trainers to train a lot of people in these systems, because it gives the individual autonomy over their own life if they use the information correctly, right? It gives you power. It gives you a better way to make decisions. It gives you strength. It allows you to take back the projections and take back the victimhood and the blame and all that, and really be able to rely and trust in yourself. And so ultimately, I'm on a mission to help people love themselves,
Mhm.
and in loving themselves, trust and respect themselves. And I just continually am amazed at the degree to which people don't like themselves. They give their power away, and then they ask for help, and I point out to them what they need to do, and then they give me 15 yeah buts and this whole
Mhm.
big long story, and I'm like, I don't care about your story. I don't
Mhm.
care. And they go, but I've worked on this for so long. I'm like, well, you still haven't solved it, have you? I don't care if you've worked on it since the day you were born. That means
Mhm.
nothing. If you're still having the problem, you still haven't solved the problem. You still have the problem. So it means you're not figuring it out on your own. And my attitude is I don't spend more than 10 minutes at this point in my life solving a problem, because at this point, with what my skill set and what I know I can do, I need help. So I have so much support in my, people say, oh, you have so much support. I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
friends, networking groups, friends like you, looking out for each other, promoting each other, right? Good affiliates. We promote each other. We help each other. I just was on AG's summit yesterday, and I hope to tune in part of it today. And AG and
Yeah.
AG Morishita, and AG's always creating opportunities for other people, and so people are always happy to help him with
Mhm.
whatever he's doing. If they can, schedule allowing. And so the more a person trusts and respects and loves themselves, the more they come from a place of power and confidence. And the most repelling thing is people's neediness, their insecurities. Like, yes, you have them, but go work them out with your therapist. Don't announce them in the mastermind. Don't
Mhm.
announce them in the Facebook group. Because you're always being watched. And this always amazes me. I'm like, if you share that there, you're not going to get any clients. What are you doing? Like, have some awareness of who you are. And so a confident person won't willingly step out there and just blow a hole in their foot with a gun. They'll use a little intelligence and go, why am I in this group? Why am I attending this call? Why am I going to this meeting? What is my intention? What do I intend to get out of it, i.e. receive? And what do I intend to give? And that's always what I ask myself with any kind of commitment is, what am I giving? And what am I receiving? Especially in business. I'm not doing it for charity. That's a different thing. It's a different conversation. But I do know that it really, really is helpful to be in that place of trust and be generous. And mostly I see people taking and selfish. How do I get more clients? How do I do this? How do I do that? You know, I need this, I need that. I'm like, well, I'm not working with you. You have to go work that stuff out, then come talk to me.
Yes. And I like that one. You said it earlier, and I've been seeing the thread on that. And that is somebody, let's say they're a little lost. They don't know what to do right now. They need clients, whatever it is. Then the help cycle is always that the who can you help, right? You help enough people. Right. And of course, something can change. And I know that you touched on it there, are a big supporter of various charities. Many, which is funny, I've donated to as well. The Unstoppable Foundation, Just Like My Child, and the Pachamama Alliance. And of course, we're also a part of the same women's group. It's like we're following this little circle of awesomeness there.
Yeah, it's great.
To those who feel they don't have enough to give, right? They feel like their well is empty. But why is it so important for us to ensure there is philanthropy as part of our core business in life, or there is the giving, or there is the helping another?
Yeah, well, the thing is, be your own charity first. Don't try to be a hero. And most of these people are like, I have nothing to give. I'm like, well, whose fault is that? You have no boundaries. And then I tell the people what they need to do, because they ask me, well, what should I do? I'm like, you need to tell your mother now. You need to get additional help to take care of her. You need to talk to an accountant with that. You need to get a lawyer. You need to use a contract for that negotiation. You need to do this. You need to do that, or you're going to get burned and you're going to be in the same position. Well, I couldn't do that. Then I'm like, then go suffer. Because here's the thing. Women especially have crap boundaries as a group. Horrible. And it's all because of wanting to get along and not rock the boat, and you don't want to show anyone up, and you don't want people jealous of you or talking behind your back. Well, they do that anyway. People talk about me all the time. I'm always amazed at the things I hear about who people think I am. And it's hilarious to me, because if you actually spent time with me, you'd realize I have a very mundane life. I work, I read, I do a little socializing, and mostly I like to be with my boyfriend and his dog when I'm not working. That's my life. And people spend time with me and they're like, oh, you're so chill. Like, you have a lot of space in your calendar. I'm like, People always ask me, what are you doing for the weekend? And I don't know. I haven't known for 15 years. We'll see what comes up. Well, don't you have a lot to do? I'm like, no. It's kind of like when people ask me, are you ready for Christmas? I'm like, I don't do Christmas, so I don't know what that means. I'm not interested in participating. So if you want success in the world, women, different for men, I have a different conversation with them, but for women, you have to risk being unpopular. You have to tell the people closest to you no a lot more. And you have to stop using your children and your schedule and your choices as your reason for why you can't get out there. I'm like, oh, well, I had kids. Well, good, you had kids. You must love being a mother. Don't use them as your excuse. And furthermore, put your kids to work. If they're over 10 years old, why are you doing their laundry or cooking all their meals? Like, it's all on you. It's control. Well, I have to have it done my way. Most women are like, I need it done my way. It has to be done my way. And if it's not done my way, I'm going to flip out. I'm like, well, great. Then have no life. Let other people do stuff. Let them do it imperfectly. It doesn't matter how you load the dishwasher. It doesn't matter how you cook the eggs. Move along. So if women can get their personal life sorted and start getting help, start setting boundaries, stop being martyrs, stop using, oh, I'm so busy. Well, who did that to you? I'm not that busy. People think I'm so busy. No, it's an illusion. It's an illusion. I'm a generator, so I get a lot done. But busy, I don't have time for busy. I have time for meaning. I have time for depth. I have time for humor. But I don't have time for all that. So this, I think, comes with age as well. Like, you hit 50 and you're like, oh, it's part of the developmental process. It's like, I'm not responsible. I'm not responsible for these people. I'm not responsible for the mess you made. Now, I might help you if you ask nicely and you pay me.
Mhm.
And friends and family pay double. That's my running joke because they're more of a pain in the ass than, you got to pay double. But the pittas, they're
Yeah.
always the people closest to you that are the most demanding. But it's really a matter of being of service and not being in servitude.
Mhm.
Acting from love, but not the fear of loss of love. Making decisions correctly from your strategy and authority and not giving your power away to your mind or to other external sources to make decisions for you. And then fundamentally, at the base of all of it is a Buddha-like mindset, getting centered in your body, right? Experiencing peace and presence in your body. And that's kind of the scale. So you can start in the morning with, like before this call, I know it was a little harried getting, you're all very patient, your team. Thank you, Tracy. I misunderstood. I thought this call, for everyone listening, was a pre-record. So I was like, oh, we're good. And I'll send it. And they're like, no, it's live. I'm like, oh my God. So I had to hustle yesterday and get stuff. I didn't mind. I just it was my bad, right? It's my mistake. I misunderstood. I'm like, I got to fix this. So that's one thing I've learned in life is to just ground myself, especially when I misunderstand, and take full responsibility like I did. I said to your husband, I screwed this up. I will fix it. I misunderstood. My bad. Too much going on. I own it. Coming to a place of stillness when you start your day. Just feel your feet on the ground. Wiggle your toes. Wiggle your hands. Get centered and set the intention for the day. Then make decisions from the place of joy. Does this bring me joy or not? That's how I make all my decisions.
Mhm.
People are like, oh, you have to do things you don't want to do. And no, life isn't penance. It's not to worship something outside of you and be a slave to anything. And then from the decision making, open the heart, right? So we're going up the scale, right? Open your heart, because an open heart always makes a lot of money. The key to success in business is an open, generous, trusting, surrendered heart. And then your mind, that mental activity, it needs to be directed towards serving others. That's the only purpose of your mind, folks, is to help other people get what they want. Your mind can't figure out your life. So stop using your mind to go, what should I do today? And how am I going to pay these bills? And no, back to the body. When your mind starts doing that, just go back to step one, get centered. And then what I do, Tracy, is I send my mind on an adventure. I say, hey, mind, go find me some wonderful clients. Go mow the lawn. Go get me a cup of coffee. And you know what? It happens. I'll hear the lawnmower start outside. Now, where I live, I don't have to do the lawn. I love it. Someone comes and does all the landscaping. So it's fabulous. But it's like, mow the lawn, get me a cup of, my boyfriend will show up or my dad or somebody, here's your coffee. Oh, thank you. How did you know? So it's the more you're centered in your intention and open to receiving what wants to be yours, the better it will become. And in order to receive, you must give. Right? In order to receive, you must give. In order to receive, you must give. And in order to give, you must be able to receive, because if you can't receive, then you have what you said earlier. I have nothing left to give. I'm like, well, that's not true. Not really.
No.
What you've done is you've given all your life force away to stuff that doesn't matter. It doesn't. You're really not responsible for your parents when they get old. It's nice if you want to help them, but it's a choice. You're not obligated to put your kids through college. It's a privilege, right? All of those things are choices we make. Now, I'm not saying leave your grandmother on the side of the road. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is have that conversation when your parents are in their 50s. Hey, when you get old, if you get senile, what are we going to do? Because I'm not a nurse. I'm not going to be able to take care of you. I'm not going to make myself sick taking care of you. So what are we going to do? Oh, we need to get some long-term care insurance. We need to figure out your will and your, right? This is what I'm talking about. You have to be so proactive. So you're not suddenly like, oh, I'm taking care of my parents. I'm like, well, what did you do 20 years ago? Did you have a conversation at all? No. I'm like, well, now you're in this situation. I'm sure you can figure it out, but it's a lot worse than it needs to be. So this is what I'm saying to all the women. Start your kids young. Get them doing their own laundry. You don't have to be the driver every single day of the week. Set up a carpool with the other women in the neighborhood. Do something proactively to make your life easier and stop using it as a way to hide,
Mhm.
because I'm not buying it anymore. I just
Mhm.
say to people, unless you have boundaries and you set up structures of support, you will never be successful. And that's a huge word. Never is a huge word. It's impossible. All the really successful women business owners I know, none of them do their own taxes. They don't clean their own house. They don't go grocery shopping. They don't spend Saturday at Costco unless it's fun for them. It's fun for, I like to shop sometimes.
Mhm.
Sometimes. So I go grocery shopping like once a month because I
Mhm.
like Trader Joe's. I
Mhm.
like to see what new products they have. And I love their marketing, right? So I love their marketing. So I'm gonna go see their new products and taste their
Yeah.
things. So that's really my message to women. Because the more I think about this, I'm like, why aren't more women succeeding, really making millions, impacting millions? Why? When they're designed to and they're not. And the main reason is they think they have to have all the solutions and they think they have to do it all themselves and they're cheap. No, I
Mhm.
can't afford it. I'm like, you can't not afford it. Get a
Crazy.
credit card and hire a cleaning person and a virtual assistant and
Yeah.
get a college student to like shuttle your kids around. Oh my God. Or like get your kid a phone app and send them an Uber. It's not that complicated, but you have to stop being a control freak. And so women take on this role of like, I must be responsible for everything. And it's like, no, you're just responsible for your own happiness. That's your
Yeah.
only responsibility. And other people in your life, those children you chose to have, and even if it was an accidental pregnancy, those don't really exist.
Mhm.
That soul needed to come through you for whatever
Mhm.
reason. Suck it up. It's part of your path. Or
Mhm.
you wanted to have children and you couldn't. There's a reason for that. And the faster we just accept like what our destiny is, the easier it will be. So that's, yeah, I could go on and on, but I think I've said my piece. And all the millionaire women I know, the minute they hit their overwhelm, they hire more help.
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
expand their team, right?
Yeah.
They get a better, they get a coach who's more successful than they are,
Yeah.
right? They join committees to learn from other powerful people. They join
Groups.
philanthropic organizations, not just to give, but to be with other wealthy people and be in that mindset. It's
Mhm.
perfectly a fine reason to do charitable work. I don't care why you do it. I
Mhm.
don't care if you totally do it for yourself. You're helping other people, that's great. But you'll make great connections and you'll meet people that have money. You know, people are always saying to me, I don't know where to find these wealthy clients. I'm like, well, join a country club.
Right.
Spend 10 grand and join a country club and go get your hair done and stop wearing polyester clothes. You'll be good. Like buy
Mhm.
yourself a Mercedes and show up at the, well, Beth, well, listen, you can't hate money and want to have money. You
Yeah.
can't judge people that have money and think you're going to have money. You can't live like a broke hippie with dirty fingernails and greasy hair and call yourself a healer
Mhm.
and get clients because no
Mhm.
one wants the bedraggled healer as their healer. I have all these healers. Oh, you want to do a trade? I'm like, why don't you heal yourself and come back to me and then
Yeah.
we'll talk. So
Well,
I know I'm a little wound up today, but there, I'll stop there.
I love,
I'll stop.
the common thread through all of it and everything you've said, and I truly believe as well, is that you are the creator of you.
Yes, you are.
Period.
You do
And
you, boo, as they say.
that's right. You do you, boo. Exactly. And then just take responsibility for that knowledge that you now know that you are the creator of you and of circumstance and of situations. So Beth, I can't thank
Yes,
you enough for being on Reach
my
Millions
pleasure.
TV, sharing your amazing story, your insights with our followers. So how can viewers connect more and continue this conversation with you?
Well, the very best thing you could do is join our next Life Purpose Lab, which is totally free in our Facebook group. And there's two ways you can join. You can go to lifepurposelab.yourpurpose.com or just go to yourpurpose.com/community, yourpurpose.com/community. That takes you right to the Facebook group. Please answer the questions or we won't let you into the group. Please read all the stuff. Don't do it fast. Be present or we won't let you into the group. And go answer because we have boundaries. Go answer the questions.
Mhm.
And if you still want to join the group after answering the questions, we do free trainings in there. And then September 6th is the Life Purpose Lab, which is a $1,500 course I do for free, where I show people the business structure in their DNA from their human design. And it's been life-changing. And a lot of business people I respect have gone through it.
Mm-hmm.
And AG is one of them, and he talks about it, and our wonderful, wonderful friend, Michaela Passieri has gone through it and referred people. And a lot of the people in our networking groups have come through it, and I'm watching them take the information and shift their businesses. And the thing I see on their face is relaxation and joy. So even though I am a general, I lead the army, that is my human design. I am the general and I lead an army, and I can act like a general. I am so alpha. People are like, oh, you're too much and you're this. I'm like, it's my design, folks. I am alpha. I have the whole alpha channel. It's called the alpha. There you go. And my life purpose is the alpha. So yeah, I can be kind of a butt kicker, but really all I want is for people to relax and feel joy. And I know the only way you can have that is you've got to face all the things you haven't been facing and stop being a doormat. Stop being at the whim of somebody's rude comment on Facebook or what the government's doing, or you should do this thing or you shouldn't do. I mean, come on. I mean, it's just such a distraction. And so the only way you're going to have that glow is to route out the distractions, every single one of them. And teach your children to be, to have cool personalities, because your personality isn't for you. It's so you can get along with other people. And people often don't get what they want because they get a lousy personality. The personality is not centered on their truth. So, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's right. You be back right back to you be you, right?
You do you, boo. Yep.
You create it. Exactly. Well, everybody out there, be sure to connect with Baeth Davis.
Thank
Absolutely
you. Thank
beautiful,
you.
an amazing person. And to help you reach millions, be sure to grab my free gifts and best resources from jointracy.com. So stay tuned to this channel for more exciting episodes of Reach Millions TV here on the Live and the High Broadcast Network. And until next time, I'm Tracy Repchuk, and here's to your continued success.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.